जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी जय राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी यमुना तीरावनचारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी गोपी जना वल्लभा गिरिवरधारी यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यशोदानंदन व्रज जनरंजन यमुना तीरावनचारी राधा माधव कुंज बिहारी Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Shrimad Divine Grace Abhay Charanaravindra Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Namacharya Haridas Thakur ki Prem se kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Shri Rupa Sanatana Patra Guna Shri Jiva Gopal Patra Dasara Guna Chadgo Swami Prabhupada ki all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories to assembled devotees, all glories, all glories, all glories to Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga. What is the verse number? Om Ajnanatimidandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshuvannilitam Jena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guroho Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Preshtaya Bhutale श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामिन्निति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेषा शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्विषे नमः। हे कृष्ण करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांत राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। ओम नमो भगवते वासुदेवाय। नारायणं नमस्कृत्य नरं चैव नरोत्तमं देवीं सरस्वतीं व्यासं ततो जयमुदीरये। नष्टप्रायेषु अभद्रेषु नित्यं भागवत सेवया भगवत्युत्तमश्लोके भक्तिर्भवति नैष्ठिकी। कृष्णाय वासुदेवाय देवकी नंदनाय च नंदगोपकुमाराय गोविंदाय नमो नमः। Welcome all of you for the Srimad Bhagavatam class this morning. There is a verse 4:12:37. The chapter entitled Dhruva Maharaj Goes Back to Godhead. Shantaha samadrisha shuddhaha sarvabhutanuranjanaha yantyanjasaच्युतपदं अच्युतप्रियबान्धवाः। शान्ताः समदृशः शुद्धाः सर्वभूतानुरञ्जनाः यान्त्यञ्जसाच्युतपदम् 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 अच्युतप्रियबान्धवाः। शान्ताः। Any Mataji want to try? शान्ताः समदृशः शुद्धाः सर्वभूतानुरञ्जनाः यान्त्यञ्जसाच्युतपदम् अच्युतप्रियबान्धवाः। शान्ताः peaceful, samadrishah equipoised, shuddhaah cleansed, purified, sarva all, bhuta living entities, anuranjanaah pleasing, yanti go, anjasa easily, achyuta of the Lord, padam to the abode, Achyuta Priya with devotees of the Lord. Bandhavaha, friends. Translation purport by His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada ki. Persons who are peaceful, equipoised, cleansed and purified, and who know the art of pleasing all other living entities, keep friendship only with devotees of the Lord. They alone can very easily achieve the perfection of going back home, back to Godhead. Please repeat. Persons who are peaceful, equipoised, cleansed, and purified, and who know the art of pleasing all other living entities, keep friendship only with devotees of the Lord. They alone can very easily achieve the perfection of going back home, back to Godhead. Purport. The description of this verse fully indicates that only devotees are eligible to enter into the kingdom of Godhead. The first point stated is that devotees are peaceful, for they have no demands for their personal sense gratification. They are simply dedicated to the service of the Lord. Karmis cannot be peaceful because they have immense demands for sense gratification. As for jnanis, they cannot be peaceful because they are too busy trying to attain liberation or merge into the existence of the Supreme. Similarly, yogis are also restless to get mystic powers. But a devotee is peaceful because he is fully surrendered to the Supreme Personality of Godhead and thinks of himself as completely helpless, just as a child feels complete peace in depending on the parent. So, a devotee is completely peaceful, for he depends on the mercy of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. A devotee is equipoised. He sees everyone on the same transcendental platform. A devotee knows that although a conditioned soul has a particular type of body according to his past fruitive activities, factually everyone is a part of the Supreme Lord. A devotee sees all living entities with spiritual vision and does not discriminate on the platform of the bodily concept of life. Such qualities develop only in the association of devotees. Without the association of devotees, one cannot advance in Krishna consciousness. Therefore, we have established the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Factually, whoever lives in this society automatically develops Krishna consciousness. Devotees are dear to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, and the Supreme Personality of Godhead is only dear to devotees. On this platform, only can one make progress in Krishna consciousness. Persons in Krishna consciousness or devotees of the Lord can please everyone, as is evident in the Krishna consciousness movement. We invite everyone without discrimination. We request everyone to sit down and chant the Hare Krishna mantra and take Asmat Prasada as we can supply. And thus everyone is pleased with us. This is the qualification, Sarva Bhutanu Ranjanaha. As for purification, no one can be more pure than devotees. Anyone who once utters the name of Vishnu immediately becomes purified, inside and outside. Yasmaret Pundarikaksham. Since a devotee constantly chants the Hare Krishna mantra, no contamination of the material can touch him. He is therefore actually purified. Muchihaya Shuchi Yadi Krishna Bhaje. It is said that even a cobbler or person born in the family of a cobbler can be elevated to the position of a Brahmana if he takes to Krishna consciousness. Any person who is purely Krishna conscious and who engages in chanting the Hare Krishna mantra is the purest in the whole universe. This morning we are reciting this most famous verse of this chapter, which is talking about the qualities that we need to go back home, back to Godhead. These qualities are possessed by Dhruva Maharaj when he was in Badrika Ashrama, Tears were gliding down his eyes, arising out of love for the Supreme Lord. And he was chanting the holy name, completely absorbed in rapt attention on Supreme Lord. And he had no enmity with any living being in the world. And he had become completely peaceful and equipoised and cleansed inside and outside. And he was always in a mood to respect all living beings. And he was friendly with devotees. And in this particular mindset, Dhruva Maharaj was becoming eligible to enter the kingdom of God. So at that time, the Vishnu Dutas came in the Vaikuntha plane to take Dhruva. So you can see these qualities: peaceful, equipoised, cleansed, and purified, and knowing the art of pleasing all living entities, and keeping friendship with devotees. So these are qualities that are highlighted here as the qualities that attract the heart of the Supreme Lord. So the word first peaceful, it is explained in Prahlad Maharaj's quality section. I will show you that. When can a person be considered peaceful? You can see this verse. Brahmanya Shela Sampanna Satya Sandho Jitendriya Atmavat Sarva Bhutanam Eka Priya Suhrittamaha. Yeah. See, he is saying, Brahmanya, Prahlad Maharaj, had all the qualities of a gentle Brahmana. And Shila Sampanna, he was very well behaved in dealings, in the way he would speak to others, in the way he would conduct himself, and the way he dealt with different people. Satya Sandho means he was determined to research into the absolute truth, which means he was always enthusiastic to know more and more about the Supreme Lord. And Jitendriya, he had controlled his senses completely, subdued his senses, 6 vegams, Vacha vegam, Manasa vegam, Krodha vegam, Jiva vegam, Udara vegam, Pasta vegam, he controlled all of them. And Atmavat Sarva Bhutanam. Atmavat means he acted like the super soul while dealing with all living entities, which means the super soul, he is equal to all. He doesn't have any favorites or enemies. He is equal to all. So he dealt with all living entities like that. He never categorized the world as friends and enemies, favorite and those whom he hated. He didn't distinguish the world like that. Atmavat Sarva Bhutana. Eka Priya Suhrittamaha. He was the greatest well-wisher of all living beings and was loved by all. Dasavat Sannatarya. Arya means the very exalted souls. Angri means the lotus feet. Sanata means to surrender. Dasavat, he surrendered to the lotus feet of the great souls as if he was treating them like Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like that he surrendered. Pitravat Dina Vatsalaha, he says. So he dealt with the citizens like a father would deal with the children. Pitravat Dina Vatsalaha. Bhratravat Sadrishe Snigdho. Equal friends, he dealt with them like a brother, with affection and friendliness. Gurushu Ishvara Bhavanaha. His guru, like Narada, he dealt with him like Ishvara Bhavanaha. He dealt with him like Supreme Lord, with great utmost respect. And Vidyartha Rupa Janmadhyo Manastamba Vivarjitaha. Although he was highly learned, he was very handsome, he was born in a very high aristocratic family and a great lineage. With all these things, Manastamba Vivarjita, he was completely free from any unnecessary pride that may come because of Janma, Aishwarya, Shrutashri and all these things. Completely free from. So one should actually study this type of qualities and contemplate on them. These are Prahlad Maharaj's qualities. So further he says, Nodvigna chitto vyasaneshu nisprihah Shruteshu drishteshu guneshvavastu drig Dantendriya prana shariradi sada Prashanta kamo rahita suro suraha. See, na udvigna chitto vyasaneshu. In troublesome circumstances, Prahlad was never agitated or disturbed. Like his father subjected him to many troubles. But he didn't get frightened or agitated or disturbed. And he was nisprihaha, means he was free from material desires. By Shruteshu means by the promise given in for the pleasures in heavenly planets. That is Shruteshu. Many people, like for Indians, heavenly planet means like America, or people who are already well off in this world, they may consider going to heavenly planets for longer duration of life, more happiness, and more higher standard of pleasures. But he was not attracted. And drishteshu means the pleasures which he saw in front of his eyes, namely the pleasures of shabda, sparsha, rasa, rupa, gandha. Pleasure of eating, pleasure of seeing, pleasure of touching, pleasure of hearing, pleasure of smelling. Guneshu avastudrik. He considered them insubstantial. Like we say, no, nateshu ramate buddha. We say, no. He understood that, yes, all living beings are chasing after pleasures of eating and sex life prominently. But he was not attracted to that. He understood that these are insubstantial. They come, they stay, they go away. And they are temporary pleasures. And they can't truly satisfy the soul. He understood that very well. Shruteshu, Drishteshu, both. Drishteshu is on earth. Shruteshu is in the heaven. Both he was not attracted. Dantendriya prana shariradi sada. He is saying that Dante means control, Indriya. He controlled his senses and prana. See, the prana pushes the hands, legs, genitals, rectum and speech. That means when you control the prana, that means he was controlled in speech, controlled in the usage of other working senses also. And also, Dante Indriya means he controlled the Jnanendriyas also. Eyes, nose, ears, tongue and skin. That also he controlled. That means all the 10 senses he controlled. Including the intelligence also, which means he purified his intelligence by hearing Krishna conscious messages from the scriptures. Sada. Why he is saying Sada? Because always he controlled them. Because some people control them for some time, like yogis. They control for some time and then they fall down after that. But Prahlad controlled them always. Then he says, Prashanta Kamo. Because of all these things, he was peacefully situated. Prashanta Kamo Rahita. Kamo Rahitaha. He was completely free from all material desires. He became completely Prashanta, peaceful. Although he was born in a, Asuraha. Although he was born in a demoniac family, he was not a demon. He was completely free from. So therefore, this is the first word. Shantaha, Samadrisha Shuddhaha, correct, no? So you wanted to know what is Shanta. This is Shanta, or Prashanta. Prakrishta Rupena Shanta is called as Prashanta, which you see here. So he became Prashanta, peaceful, because of all these qualities. So when all these qualities put together, you can call a person as a Prashanta. Shantaha. And then regarding Samadrisha, earlier he said, Atmavat Sarva Bhutaha. He said he treated all living beings equally. And then he is saying, Yasmin Mahad Gunarajan Grihyante Kavibir Muhu Nate Adhuna Pidhiyante Yata Bhagavatishware. He is saying, Yasmin, in Prahlad, Mahadguna Rajan, Grihyante Kavibir Muhu. All great devotees and poets, they glorify Prahlada's qualities. Not only he says he was glorified, by learned saints. His qualities were glorified even in the demoniac assemblies also. Divine and demoniac both glorified him alike, that he will say that here. Yam sadhu gata sadasi ripavo api suranrupa. Ripavo api means even the demons glorified his qualities. Devotees naturally glorify his qualities. Pratimanam prakurvanti kimutanje bhavadrishaha. He's saying, what can we speak of? Actually, he's glorifying Prahlad. Gunairalam asankheyar. Prahlad had innumerable such qualities. Mahatmyam tasya suchate Vasudeve Bhagavati Yasya Naisargiki Ratihi. So for him, devotion to Lord Vasudeva Krishna was very, very natural. It was like outpour of devotion to Krishna very naturally from his heart. He says, I cannot enumerate all his qualities. There are innumerable qualities of Prahlad. I only told you a few. Like that he is saying. Nyasta Kridanako Balo. He gave up playful sports. Generally, children are fond of playing with toys. But Prahlad, even as a small boy, child, Nyasta Kridanako Balo. He gave up his proclivity for sports. Jadavatan Manastaya. He appeared as if Jadavat means he was stunned by remembrance of the Supreme Lord. Krishna Graha Grahitatma Naved Jagadidrisham. He was actually possessed by Krishna Graha. Krishna Graha is Goloka. So Goloka remembrance was dominating his consciousness predominantly. In this world you will see somebody is possessed by some dream job or dream this, dream that, correct now? People are possessed by some dream in this world. And their mind is revolving around that. Somebody is revolving around dollar notes. Somebody is revolving around some particular dream company. Somebody is revolving around some dream girl or dream boy like that. Somebody is revolving around some dream bungalow. Or somebody is revolving around dream bike or a dream car. Everybody is dreaming about something. So his consciousness was revolving around Krishna Graha. That is, Krishna Graha is Krishna's planet. He was possessed by Krishna's planet. Naveda Jagadidrisham. How this world is, material world is going on. He was wondering, how can anybody in this world walk here and there without thinking of Krishna? He was very surprised. One moment he could not forget Krishna. It is said. Asina paryatan ashnan shayana pravivan bhuvan nanusandatta yetani govinda parirambitaha. Whether he was eating, whether he was walking, whether he was sitting or sleeping or drinking water, all the time he was feeling Govinda Parirambita. He was embraced by Govinda always. He was in the fold. He was in the lap of Govinda. He was embraced by Govinda, Lord Krishna. Govinda Parirambita. As it is saying. Embraced by the Lord. Like a mother cares for the child. Like that he felt. He had such experience. Kvachit prasati vaikuntha chinta shabala chetanaha. Kvachit dhasati tat chinta hlada udgayati kvachit. He's saying sometimes he would weep. And sometimes he would smile. Hasati. Why he would weep? Why he would smile? When he would see Krishna coming towards him, he would smile. When Krishna would disappear, like doing a hide and seek game, then he would weep. So he was feeling such ecstatic emotions arising even as a small child. Prahlad. Nadati kvachit vaikunt, nadati kvachit utkantho vilajyo nrityati kvachit kvachit tad bhavana yuktas tanmayo nuchakaraha. Actually, sometimes he would loudly call Krishna's names with great devotion. Other times he would shamelessly dance, not bothering about what would people around him criticize or comment about him. He would dance in great ecstatic love. Nrityati. Yeah. So with that type of Krishna bhavana, he would become Sometimes, see here it says here, Kvachit tad bhavana yuktas tanmayo anuchakaraha. Means sometimes he imitated Krishna's pastimes as if Krishna would play on his flute. Or he would stand in a threefold bending form like Krishna. He would imitate it. Why he would imitate? The gopis also imitated. Krishna lifting the Govardhan hill, Krishna dancing on Kaliya, or Krishna walking towards the forest along with the cows and calves. Why did gopis imitate? Especially when you fall in love with a great hero, you remember the personality so intensely that you tend to copy some of the stylish activities of the hero. People do that when they go to some movie and come back. They try to, and how the heroes walked, and how he sang, how he danced. People do that, correct, no? The same manner, Prahlad also was doing that because for him Krishna was the hero, correct, no? Doing that. Kvajit putpulakas tushnim aste samparsha nirvritaha aspanda pranayananda salilami litekshanaha. He says sometimes the hair would stand on end. When actually, as he says here, when he became spiritually jubilant, when Krishna would touch him, and tears would glide down his eyes because of his love for the Lord. So all these symptoms manifested in Prahlad's body. Savuttama shloka padara bindayor nishevaya kinchid sara sangalabdaya tanman param nirpratimatmano muhur dustangadinasya manah shamam vyadat. Here he is saying here, because of his association with perfect unalloyed devotees like Narada, who had nothing to do with anything material, Prahlad constantly engaged in the service of the Lord's lotus feet. Actually, it depends on whom we associate with. If you associate with some social welfare worker, then you also become a social welfare worker. If you associate with a nationalist, you become a nationalist also. You associate with a money-minded fellow, then you become greedy for money also. If you work with a killer of animals, then you become a killer of animals also. Jaisa sang, vaisa rang, as we say. So, sometimes there are many people moving in the external appearance of a devotee, but when you associate with them very closely, you will see that they have a mixture of karma, jnana, yoga. Karma mishra bhakti means he has possessive mentality. He has a desire to possess some wealth, some land, some woman, some followers. That is possessive mentality, is the karma mishra bhakti. Indra and Daksha, they are examples of karma mishra bhakti. Then there are some other fellows who have appearance of bhakti externally, but they have jnana mishra bhakti, like Maitreya was a jnana mishra bhakta. Like you find many sages, you find in the scriptures you read about, many of them jnana mishra bhakti, because they were more speculative in nature. Some of them are impersonalists also, or they were not very clear about the understanding of personality of Godhead Krishna. So they were still figuring out absolute truth. Jnana mishra bhakti, but they take shelter of Krishna's personal form. Jara marana mokshaya mamam yatanti. Like that, there's a verse which says in Bhagavad Gita. And there are yoga mishra bhaktas, means they do bhakti, but they have a controlling mentality. Like you find Durvasa Muni also comes to Vrindavan. There are pastimes of the Lord where Durvasa comes into picture also. He enters even Vaikuntha also, but he has a tendency to control other living beings. Yoga mishra bhakti. So therefore, by the association we get, if there is a karma mishra, jnana mishra, yoga mishra, then that clings to us also. So therefore, Prabhupada says one should be very careful to get bhakti unmukha bij, not jnanonmukha bij or yogonmukha or karmonmukha bija. What is bij? Bija, Bhaktilata bij means, like for example, anything in this world you do, the first thing, seed idea comes in the head. Like you're going on a road, you see a beautiful bungalow. You develop a desire. Oh, I also want to make a bungalow like this. So the desire seed has arisen here. Then later on you identify a land, purchase a land, then call a civil engineer, make a blueprint. Then after the blueprint, eventually the building will come up. Then you will also make a colorful, beautiful house. That's the third thing. So it means seed idea, blueprint, and actual building. Similarly, the Bhaktilata Bij means the Guru gives us a program by following which our bhakti can be awakened. Our bhakti can be blossomed. So, like for example, Prabhupada has given us 16 rounds of chanting Hare Krishna, following 4 regulative principles, worshipping the deity, studying Bhagavatam, living in the association of devotees, eating only prasadam, keeping ourselves pure and avoiding impure non-devotee association, all these things. So in this way you will find, this is actually the seed that Prabhupada has given to his followers in ISKCON, which is coming down in Guru Parampara. So in this way, accepting that seed or the program that he has laid out for us, by following that we can awaken. That is perfect association. So if you accept the seed very seriously, now what happens? Somebody may be in ISKCON wearing tilak, kantimala and having the bead bag in the neck, but they may be receiving karma bij or jnana bij or yoga bij by reading other books, reading many other books, associating with people who are not properly situated devotees. On the other hand, those who are fixed up, we call it as a fixed up devotee, those who are fixed up in the pure message coming in Guru Parampara, they will be saved. They will get Bhaktilata Bij. So we have to decide what Bij we want. If you are going to accept Karma Mishra, Jnana Mishra, Yoga Mishra Bijas, that will actually make us be born again and again in this world. When one has a Shuddha Bhakti Bij, as coming in Guru Parampara, then the Shuddha Bhakti will purify our heart. That's why he is saying, Shantaha Samadrisha Shuddhaha. See, Shuddhaha means it is Shuddha Bhakti ka Bij. Dena, what is that? Dena Shuddha Krishna Shiksha, Dena Shuddha Krishna Shiksha, he says. Nityananda Prabhu is giving Shuddha Krishna Shiksha. So he says, Ek baar dekh le chake jal, ek baar dekh le chake jal. So, which means if he sees that that's a sincere aspiration for Shuddha Bhakti in the life of a devotee, then only Nityananda gives. So what he says, Jati dan vidyaval na kore apeksha. He says, he does not see your high birth or your wealth or your learning, Jati dan vidya bal, or your strength or influence in society. He doesn't see any of this. He only says, Dena Shuddha Krishna Shiksha, Dena Shuddha Krishna. He only says, Shraddha Mulye Shuddha Nam Sehatete Bikai. He sells the pure holy name only for one price. What is it? Shraddha Mulye. He's saying. If you have Shraddha, you have everything. If you don't have Shraddha, all the qualifications are null and void. Neither is it. So that is Shuddha Krishna Shiksha. So we should actually aspire for Shuddha Bhakti by chanting Shuddha Nam. We should not get carried away by karma, jnana, yoga, bijas. So those people who become Krishna devotees, but associate with somebody who gives you karma bija, then sometimes these people may go to the holy dham like Mayapur or Vrindavan, see that thousands of devotees are coming. Because of purchasing so much, let me open a shop and let me do very good business. Because if I also get initiated in ISKCON and I wear a tilak and I wear kantimala, I look like ISKCON devotee. Some people you can become an ISKCON Vastu consultant, you can become an ISKCON astrologer, you can become an ISKCON, shop owner. You can, because you know that all ISKCON devotees will respect me because I am also a member of ISKCON initiated and I can have good business. See, this is not to say that you can't be an ISKCON Vastu consultant or ISKCON, astrologer or anything. You can be, but the point is, if your goal by using this initiation as a tag for attracting customers, then that is actually Karma Mishra Bhakti. Karma Mishra Bhakti means you use Bhakti for expanding your material domain. Or you use Bhakti for expanding your in a knowledge domain, like there some people do that, as I told you. Some people, they ask, can I learn Sanskrit? Initially, so that I can read Bhagavatam. It will be very easy for me. Prabhupada said, if you simply read Bhagavatam word by word translation, you will learn all Sanskrit. But some people say that by learning little Sanskrit will be helpful. But then you find they venture deeper into Sanskrit. They want to get MA Sanskrit, then they want to doctorate Sanskrit. They go into that. And then sometimes they study Vedanta Sutra and all those different books. They read and they get carried away. And the bhakti essence is forgotten. The sweetness and the tenderness of the heart, the innocence, the simplicity of devotion, that gets camouflaged by, scholastic approach, the scholarly approach. Suddenly they find something deeply important thing missing, and they become like Jnana Mishra Bhaktas. Correct, no? One has to be very careful. Again, this is not to say you can't be a Sanskrit scholar. There was a very great devotee in ISKCON, His Grace Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu. He is such a humble devotee. Anywhere you go to ISKCON, people will glorify him for his humility and simplicity and innocence and purity. Although he was one of the greatest scholars in Sanskrit in ISKCON society of his time. He lived in Govardhan and he had a Govardhan Sanskrit school also. You can ask any Prabhupada disciple, you name the word Gopi Paranadhana Prabhu, they will say, wow, what a humble devotee. They will say. It's not that because of Sanskrit knowledge he became proud or something. But at the same time, we being conditioned souls, we have a tendency to become carried away by karma bija, jnana bija, yoga bija and all. Somebody says, Prabhu, doctor has told me to learn some yogasanas. Is it all right? So one devotee started in one temple. And then another 4 or 5 devotees saw him that he is becoming healthy now. So we will also start. They also started. Eventually many started. Then they called the yoga teacher to train. And yoga teacher trained them. And every day some people started doing 1 hour of yoga. After some people started 2 hours of yoga. 2 hours. Twisting their body and all complicated steps and everything. Like they do now. Is yoga meant for showing gymnastics? Or you keep your body and soul properly and do your Krishna consciousness? Imagine some devotee showing complicated poses to another devotee. See, I have become a very expert yoga practitioner. Is it very useful? So therefore, one should know then the controlling mentality comes. We have to keep our body healthy for practicing Krishna consciousness. Not that we are inclined to levitating from the ground or getting some siddhis or powers. See, powers, when we say it, doesn't only mean siddhis. Powers can also be, for example, becoming head of a department or wanting influence over other living entities, increasing number of followers, and also becoming popular, becoming well known. Like we say, holier than thou attitude, or thinking that I have a halo around my head. I am a very increasing one's self-importance. That is also actually yogi mentality. Wanting to be special, someone very unique, clout they call it. So increasing one's clout. Becoming very... So this kind of desires also are actually yoga mishra. So then what happens? We came to bhakti to purify our heart and go back to God, but we get stuck in these things. So therefore, here he says, because of Prahlada's association with perfect unalloyed devotees like Narada, they had nothing to do with anything material. Prahlad Maharaj constantly engaged in the service of the Lord's lotus feet. He was in perfect ecstasy. Everybody became purified simply by seeing his transcendental bliss. So that is the Prahlad Maharaj. So that is this one. So I was showing you that section of Prahlad to explain this one word. Shantaha samadrisha shuddhaha sarva bhutanuranjanaha. So he says Shantaha. Prahlada's mind, senses All the 10 senses were peaceful. He had no hankering. So you know that famous verse, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Ashanta. So Prabhupada says, why they are called Ashanta? You will find a karmi, like Indra for example, is a karmi or Karma Mishra Bhakta. He is always Ashanta. Why? As soon as some rishi is performing meditation, he becomes Ashanta. Like immediately he has to send some apsara and agitate him, disturb him, so that he will not increase his tapobalam. Prithu Maharaj is doing yajna. His Holiness Bhakti Vaishnava Ashram Maharaj was beautifully narrating that past time when he came to Pune. He was telling, when Prithu Maharaj's yajna was a big sacrifice, thousands of people had assembled, common people and even demigods, even great kings, great rishis and munis, great brahmanas, everybody had assembled. And Indra also arrived there and he went and sat in the VIP lounge. Maharaj was telling. In the VIP lounge he sat and he was watching. And he was seeing that now the 99 yajnas are over, he is going to do the 100th yajna. And then he changed over to another clothes because you shouldn't look like Indra when he is doing this. He changed over to another clothes and quickly went and stole the horse. And he flew up in the sky. Actually, if you catch a horse, you have to fight. Not that you catch a horse and hide somewhere. That is ridiculous. No king will take the horse and hide anywhere. Purpose of sending the Ashwamedha horse is that you catch the horse and then you wage a war. But Indra wanted to take away the horse so that the yajna will not be complete. And he didn't just do it once. He did it 3-4 times. Again and again he did that. That goes to show the insecurity of Indra, fear of Indra. So Indra is called as a champion of excellence. And Prithu Maharaj is called as champion of character. So Lord was pleased by whom? Champion of character or champion of excellence? Character. So therefore 99 is greater than 100. Why? Because Prithu did 99 yajnas and Indra did Shatakratu, 100 yajnas. But Lord liked the attitude of Prithu more because of his character, being a man of character. So here is example of Karma Mishra Bhakta who is Ashanta, who is getting very disturbed in seeing somebody else excelling in that field. Para Utkarsha Asahanam, it's called Matsarata. Definition of Matsarata, Sridhara Swami gives. Seeing someone progress causes burning sensation in someone's heart. That is the hankering of a karmi, Karma Mishra Bhakta. Similarly, you can take example of a Yoga Mishra Bhakta like Vishwamitra Muni. Vishwamitra Muni and Vasishtha Muni, they both always had a tussle. And why? Because Vasishtha was a Brahma Rishi. When Vishwamitra was a king, Kaushik Raja, the tussle began with Vishwamitra wanting Vasishtha Muni's cow, Kamadhenu cow, but he couldn't get it because Kamadhenu, with the permission of Vasishtha, she brought out many soldiers from her eyes and ears and different parts of the body. And those soldiers all defeated Vishwamitra soldiers. Vishwamitra understood that the Brahma Tejas has excelled the Kshatriya Tejas. So he said, what is the use of being a Kshatriya? Now I will also become a Brahmana. So then he went to the forest and performed a severe penance. And Brahma appeared and said, now you are a Raja Rishi, now I give you the title Maharishi, he said. But Vishwamitra said, what is the use of being a Maharishi? No, I actually want to become a Brahma Rishi. So he said, oh, that you will have to perform more penance. No problem, I will do. So when he became a Maharishi, at that time he came to attack Vasishtha. He said, now that I have become a Maharishi now. So he again brought some weapons and everything. Vasishtha had a staff in the hand. You know staff? Where you keep the hand like this. In the staff he swallowed all the weapons in that. So he understood that my power has become insignificant. Again he went and performed penance. Of course, he became deviated by Menaka and Ramba and all that in between. Lot of struggle until he became Brahma Rishi. So you can see that, is he peaceful or is he not peaceful? Not peaceful. So Yoga Mishra Bhakta is not peaceful. Later on, he created Trishanku Swarga, that also is out of envy. Because this fellow Trishanku, he went to Vasishtha. Vasishtha told him, see, you cannot go to Swarga without performing yajna. You have to pay the price and follow the process. Then only you can attain Swarga. But Trishanku was not ready. Then Trishanku went to Vasishta's sons and 100 sons, and then he told them, can you please send me to heaven without having to perform any big sacrifice and everything. And then he told them, you see, your father could not do, but I am very confident that you sons are more intelligent than your father. So you will be able to do it for me. But then they became very angry that you offended our father who is a great soul and you are insulting him. So they cursed him to become a Chandala. He became Chandal. And then he met Vishwamitra Muni and told Vishwamitra, actually in front of Vishwamitra he was shouting that, what is this? Even great personalities in this world are not able to send me to heaven, without performing yajna. What is the use of that tapobalam? He asked. Vishwamitra asked, who is that great fellow you are talking about? He said, Vasishta. He said, really? He couldn't do it? I will do it. So he was more in a mood of ego trip, that I can do something what Vasishta cannot do. And then he tried to use his tapobalam to send him up. See, this happens sometimes. If you are a devotee, you may tell a devotee, don't worry, I will send your name for initiation. He may say, Prabhuji, the committee has rejected my name. I am there. Correct? It's the same mentality it is. Correct, no? And then you send a person and again committee rejects it. Like that's what Indra did. Indra took his Vajra. He sent back. What is the UFO coming up? He sent back. Then again he sent him up. So finally Trishanku said, Hare, you are playing badminton with me? Up and down. Better you allow me to be on earth at least. At that time, Vishwamitra created a Trishanku Swarga in between. So the Trishanku Swarga was going very fast. And Vishwamitra couldn't control it. Just like modern day scientists sometimes create some invention and then it breaks out and goes out of control. Actually, in what is that? Wuhan or Wuhan? What is that? Wuhan. Wuhan. Wuhan, they say, some people say they were doing a test from where what is that? On bats they were doing some test and the COVID thing came from there. Corona, they say. And some people tried to suppress that, saying that no, it is not from there, some other thing they are trying to suppress. But whatever you may say, there are enough proofs. The market, animals and everything. But the whole idea is what? Sometimes man, you have read about Haji Wells and Jules Verne, they are sci-fi writers. So Haji Wells wrote a book on thinking machine. And Jules Verne also wrote a book about traveling to other planets. So you find Haji Wells, when he writes, he talks about, he already predicted that in future man will create more and more machines and he'll become a slave of machines. It's only a matter of time. He will later on regret for having created the machines. For example, now people, if you ask a child, how much is 2 plus 3? They say, wait a minute, I need a calculator now. You become dependent on the machines. You become a slave of the machines. But why did I say that? Vishwamitra was also like that scientist who created a planet which he could not control. He was screaming. At that time he realized that the supreme controller is Lord Hari. Oh Lord Hari! Like that he shouted. And immediately Lord Vishnu appeared there and said, who told you to do this mischief? You promised me you will not do such a mischief in future, then I will control this planet. And then the planet was controlled. The whole idea is, then Vishwamitra becomes a devotee. Then he becomes Lord Rama's devotee after that. So the idea is, you will see that Yoga Mishra fellow is also disturbed. Karma Mishra fellow is disturbed. Is Saubharamani peaceful under the water? He is also disturbed, you will see that. Of course, he becomes a devotee later on with all his 50 wives. They all became Krishna's devotees and went back to Godhead. You will read that in Bhagavatam. But that is not in the first part, that is in the later part. But in the first part, you find he makes friendship with the fishes. He curses our Garuda. And he gets into trouble by observing 2 fishes mating. And he got into, marrying the 50 daughters of King Mandata. And he just got, carried away. Therefore he is saying, Bhukti Mukti Siddhi Kami Sakali Ashanta. But on the other hand, Krishna Bhakti Nishkama means like you see Haridas Thakur chanting peacefully. Krishna Bhakti Nishkama. You find Ambarish Maharaj, peaceful. Even in front of the big demon. Prahlad Maharaj, peaceful. Parikshit Maharaj came to know that the death is, there is an impending death in 7 days. Nottama shloka vartanam jishatam tat katamritam syat sambramanta kalepi smaratam tat padam bhujam. He says that the pure devotees of the Lord, even if they come to know there is a death awaiting them, they will not be afraid. He says. They know that body is just a dress over the soul. We have to leave it and go to the next destination. So he was not disturbed. Parikshit was not disturbed, although death was awaiting. Prahlad was not disturbed. Ambarish was not disturbed. Haridas Thakur was not disturbed. We can talk about many such devotees. Even if a devotee is cursed to become a demon, like Vritrasura, he was not disturbed. He folded his palm and told Parvati Mata, Mother, I accept whatever curse you have given me. I am ready to accept the body of that Vritrasura demon. But then he practiced Shuddha Bhakti, even in the body of a demon. Prahlad practiced Shuddha Bhakti, even though born in a demoniac family. Bali Maharaj, when he practiced Shuddha Bhakti, following in the footsteps of Prahlada, so his name immediately entered into Dvadasha Mahajans. Lord observed that he cannot be counted amongst demons now. He has become like Prahlad. Both Prahlad's name is already there in the name list. Dvadasha Mahajan. So Bali's name also got entered there. You can see that. So therefore he is saying, Shantaha, Samadrisha, Shuddhaha. They practice Shuddha Bhakti. So this is another important quality. He says, Sarva Bhutanu Ranjanaha. He is saying. That means they always make an effort to please other living entities. You see, it is very easy to please gentlemanly people. But generally when we talk about this quality, we should talk about how great souls try to please even evil-minded souls. You will see Prahlad prayed for the deliverance of his father, Hiranyakashipu, when Lord Narasimha appeared. He tried to please his father by liberating him. Ambarish Maharaj, you know what was consciousness of Ambarish? When Durvasa Muni was going around all the different, Brahmaloka, Shivaloka, Vishnuloka and all, heart of hearts, Ambarish was thinking, maybe I committed an offense. I should not have taken the Charanamrit. Because of my taking Charanamrit, this poor Brahmana has to run from pillar to post and is suffering and chased by Sudarshan Chakra. So he thought, I have offended. Therefore, he didn't eat any prasad. He was waiting 1 full year until Durvasa Muni returned back and fell at his feet. And then he saved Durvasa Muni from that Sudarshan Chakra by offering argya of all the spiritual activities he had done. All his punya he offered to Sudarshan Chakra. When Durvasa was saved, and then he made Durvasa sit and fed him prasadam, after which he ate. So that goes to show Sarva Bhutana Ranjana. He is trying to please even evil-minded people like Durvasa also. Therefore, Durvasa was deeply touched by Ambarish's behavior. Durvasa Muni tells him in one famous verse, Aho ananta dasanam mahatam drishtam adhyame kritagasopi yad rajan mangalani samikhase. I contemplated on killing you, my dear king, and you worked for saving my life. See my mentality, see your mentality, he is saying. So that is actually Sarva Bhutana Ranjana. So he is trying to please even sages like Durvasa Muni. You can see that. Actually, Durvasa Muni told him, now I am going to Siddhaloka, I am flying up. But there I am going to go and tell this pastime of Sudarshan chasing after me. See, any of you will tell a story to anybody, if in that story you are acting as a villain. Will you tell? Only if you are a hero, you will tell, correct, no? But in this story, who is hero, who is villain? Ambarish Maharaj is hero. And Durvasa Muni was in a troublesome situation, like a villain type of role, correct, no? But still he is ready to go to Siddhaloka and narrate this pastime without any shame. Because that much he was touched by the pleasing behavior of Ambarish Maharaj. Ask yourself, how many of us would want to please somebody who spoke harshly to us, or who mistreated us, who insulted us, who didn't care for us, who actually acted against our interests. How many of us can, make an effort to please them? See, first comes serve, then comes satisfy, then comes please. It's superlative it is. To make an effort to please somebody. You will not even serve them. What is because of satisfying them? Pleasing them comes even after that. But you can see he is trying to please. Yeah. So therefore, Prahlad Maharaj says in one verse, Swastyastu Kalap Prasidatam. He says, Swastyastu Badra Kalap Prasidatam. May all the living beings in the world become pacified of their envy and anger. And let them all worship the Supreme Lord Vishnu, Krishna, and let them be peaceful. Why should they hurt each other? Why should they hurt themselves and hurt one another? See, even ISKCON is an organization. Every organization needs members who very carefully follow two qualities: conformity, unity. These two are very important qualities. Conformity means aligning with God's laws. Alignment with scriptures, alignment with ISKCON's organizational laws. That is conformity. And unity means, interpersonally connecting with other devotees in such a manner that we cooperate with them, we stay united with them, we don't quarrel with them, we don't trouble them. That is unity. So conformity and unity, these are universal principles. If these two are followed, the whole world can be a happy place. Now for conformity, three things have to be done for conformity: sanctioned, sanctified, regulated. If you do these three things, then conformity is done. That means you should only accept what is sanctioned for you. And you also should accept only when it is sanctified. And that you should accept and regulated. For example, food. What is sanctioned food? Vegetarian food. And if you offer it to Krishna, it is sanctified. And can you eat 2 dozen samosas if it is prasadam? No. It should be regulated. So sanctioned, sanctified, regulated. Then you are following conformity to Krishna's laws. Same thing, a man wants to marry, he is allowed to marry a wife. That is sanctioned. But husband and wife practice devotional service together, then that is sanctified. And regulated means they don't live lavishly, they don't spend so much money that they have no time for Krishna consciousness. They have to be regulated in their life. So, in this way we can say, if everybody sticks to this conformity principle, then their life will be peaceful. If everybody sticks to the unity principle, then others' life will be peaceful. In this way, everybody's life can be peaceful. You will see that. So therefore, then you can do Sarvabhutana Ranjana. If you want to please all living entities, stick to these two things. Very simple. Conformity and unity. So you will find Supreme Lord Himself follows this. You will see that. Like, when Draupadi did not want to see Ashwatthama killed, Krishna cooperated. Arjuna also cooperated. They said, okay, we will not kill him. You can see that. So the unity, cooperation, working together. Lord Himself is teaching it by His example. You can see that. So then only we can please other living entities. And the topmost way to please all living entities is to make them Krishna conscious. Give them Krishna prasad, give them Krishna conscious wisdom, give them knowledge. Because nothing short of that can truly please any living entity. Because you can give them food, they will pass stool tomorrow and they will come back again. If you give food for 1 week, they will come back after 1 week. You will see that anything, you give food, clothing, shelter, everything falls short in this world. But if you make them Krishna conscious, they will never come back to this world. They will go back to Godhead. So, Yanti Anjasa, such pure devotees who follow these qualities. See, Samadrisha, the second quality, also means you treat everyone equally. Like for example, you treat everyone equally by treating them differently. I'll tell you how. For example, if a family comes to somebody's house, in that there is grandmother has come, she hardly has any teeth. You may give her some juice or something to drink. And then she may come with her grandson, small boy. You may give him a cookie or a biscuit or something like that. Correct, no? Yeah. And they may, and the boy's mother and father also may come. You may give them lunch or something like that. So when there is an ice cream or a cake, you give it to the child. In a proper food, you give it to the grown-ups. And very old means you give some beverages. That means you are treating them all equally by treating them differently. Correct, no? That means understanding their need, you are treating them. That's the meaning of samadrisha. For example, the Vedas say that when a cow comes to your home, you can allow the cow to come inside the house also and stay in the backyard. When a dog comes, keep the dog at the door and feed them food and send it away. You will see that. And this is equal treatment because every creature has to be treated differently. You should benefit the creature without hurting yourself. So, the Vedic life actually teaches how to care for everybody and treating them all, giving them due respect. Yeah. So, modern day society talks about equality. It's a foolish type of equality. For example, the women have to be treated with utmost respect in the Vedic times, like Mataji, mother, Bhavadi Bhikshan Dehi, means, oh, respectful mother, please give me Bhiksha. Brahmacharis would go home to beg, like that. So women are given a very position of high esteem, respectfully called by the name Mataji. But now people are putting women's pictures in the billboards, in the movies, in all the products they sell. You go and buy a bulb in the market, they have woman's picture there. What is the connection between bulb and woman picture? We don't know. Anywhere. Are they selling a car? They put some stylish woman scantily dressed. It's an insult. So they are not treating, they may claim that they are having gender equality, we are giving them equal respect. They are actually not giving respect. They are insulting, mistreating women. And they are making them public display figures, insulting their bodies. On the contrary, the Vedic life actually gives utmost respect. Even a father calls the daughter as Amma. You will see in the Bhagavatam, Ambe is calling Vatsa. Oh, my dear child. Like that Swayambhu is calling his daughter Devahuti. When she was getting married to Kardama, the father embraced the daughter and showered with tears on her head. Tears of affection, and handed over her to Kardama. That time he is calling her as Ambe, oh mother, oh Vatsa, oh child, like that he is calling. So women are treated with utmost respect. So we should know this word, samadrisha, how everybody should be. Pandita, samadarshinaha. So shantaha, samadrishaha, shuddhaha, sarvabhutanranjanaha. Yanti, they will go back. Anjasa, very easily. Achyutapadam means Vaikuntha. After going there, what happens? Achyuta priya bandavaha. They will become one of the eternal associates of Lord Krishna or Vishnu. Achyuta priya bandavaha. Yeah. So, in this way, this verse talks about Dhruva Maharaj returning back home, back to Godhead, and what qualities he possessed at that time. These are all adorable qualities. We can keep them at the topmost pedestal in our heart and aspire for them and make an effort to practice them. Why are we discussing about them elaborately? So that we can find out ways and means to adopt these pure, sublime qualities, so that Lord's glance will fall upon us and He will become merciful to us and He will invite us back to His lotus feet for eternal service. Srila Prabhupada ki, Granth Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Gaur Bhakta Vrinda ki. Thank you very much.